What's going on, everybody? Welcome back. If you've been here before, I'm NeonMushroom, and today we're playing some more MTGO. I know we just did that yesterday, but we got a paper stream tomorrow. If you're watching this video on the day it's uploaded, that's going to be tomorrow around 11:30 EST. If you want to watch us play some paper Premodern and just a little bit of Paper Valley Vintage, come check it out. But today we're playing the deck that actually won Spanish Nationals. I'm going to try to pronounce this name of the person who actually took this event down. It is more than a syllable per word, so I'm going to mess it up, but Sebastiano Gabrielli. If you ever see this video, Sebastiano, I'm so sorry for butchering your name because I'm sure that I did. I've got, I don't read too good, but this is the list that actually took down the main event at Spanish Nationals. And this is effectively Moneyball Black. We're going to go through the deck list because there's some things we've come to expect from deck lists like this and some things that are, I would call innovations. The mana base is clean. I really love that we got 16 black sources in here. That's just 16 swamps. And then we are also cleanly playing 4 factories and 4 wastelands for 24 lands, which seems a little high in this deck, but I would count your wastelands as spells more than lands. So then it's like a 20 land deck with, it's like 22 and a half because you can tap the wastelands for mana sometimes. And then we're also a dark ritual deck. So we shouldn't have any issues with mana production for the most part. Then we're doing the normal discard stuff, Cabal Therapy, Duress, Ravenous Rats. That whole feedback loop is going to tear combo and control decks early game plan apart. This is also a deck that I think will have a very strong Dreadnought matchup, which is a good place to be in this format. We've also got Smother and Edict as our like removal spells, also some Snuff Outs up in the higher end of the mana value scale. Our creatures are going to be Withered Wretch. We already talked about the rats. Hypnotic Specter, a classic. And then one of the big, I would call it flashy new things we're seeing in this deck in the main is the 2 Masticores, which actually make a lot of sense to me because we're playing Phyrexian Arena, so we can buy back the card advantage. We can also go turn 1 Duress, turn 2 Dark Rid into the Masticore, and if the Duress is swords to plowshares, Masticore threatens to immediately seize the game. We will have to keep feeding our Masticore because it requires us to discard a card, but at some point, if we're able to resolve a Phyrexian Arena, we're looking pretty good. We've also got Contagion, aka, as my buddy Wes calls it, Force of Kill Goblin Lackey. And then on the sideboard, we have a very clean looking sideboard as well. 2 Keg, 2 Furnace, 1 Diabolic Edict to go with the one in the main, 4 Engineered Plague, best sideboard card in the deck, 3 Gloom, 3 Dystopia, a bunch of really powerful hate pieces that we can fire off and turn 1 off of a dark ritual. This is the deck. It's clean. It's gorgeous. I love that I can build this in paper if I want to and probably will at some point. We're playing Pit Rack in tomorrow's paper stream, so it's going to be a little different than this. But if you're a Mono Black enjoyer, you're going to love it. But that's the deck. Let's just hop into some games. All right, we found an opponent and we're on the play. Let's give him the good old hi, good luck, have fun with an exclamation point so they know I'm friendly. And I will take the play. Our opening hand is no Dark Rip. We've got Duress into Withered Wretch into Hippie with a factory. This is the Moneyball opener. We're going to do something every turn and hopefully it's going to be enough. There are better hands for sure, but I think we definitely keep this. Probably going to sequence like Swamp Duress into Swamp Withered Wretch into Mishra's factory, Hippie, and hopefully we draw like a card advantage engine or some more gas along the way. All right, let's open on Swamp, tap it for a black Duress opponent. Show me what you're working with, please don't miss. Okay, 2 recurring nightmares, that's not what we wanted to see. Plus birds, forest, Nantuko, yada, yada, yada. I don't think they're gonna hit off their first Cabal Therapy. I do like kind of leaving recurring nightmares in their hand just in case I draw Cabal Therapy. Also recurring nightmare, not horrible if we are able to resolve our Withered Wretch. That said, if we're going black Duress and they're playing Cabal Therapy, if our opponent is particularly talented, they may open on just ripping Cabal Therapy and naming Withered Wretch. I'm awkwardly, I know this seems bad, but I'm going to take the Cabal Therapy for 2 reasons. A, I can rip Cabal Therapy and get both of their recurring nightmares. B, Withered Wretch makes their recurring nightmare look kind of poor. So that's our plan here. Duress Cabal Therapy. You got to get up there so you can sign my Mushroom Approved Dead Guy L deck box. Hell yeah. That would be sweet. I love signing shit. I'm still not quite used to it. People want me to sign shit and I'm like, really? But this is a card that's in such nice condition. But I'm at the point now where someone wants me to sign something. I'm like, you know what? I also like when my friends sign my shit, so that's the way I think about it. Let's just all sign each other's shit. That way we don't forget each other exists because the internet gives us too much information constantly and then we forget about other people. Would you like to finish passing the turn, sir? You don't have, I guess you could like sack birds and Cabal Therapy, but that wouldn't make any sense. Cabal Therapy off the top. Nope, no luck there. But it's a second factory, so we've got pressure. Black, Withered Wretch. No nightmaring for you. Wouldn't be surprised if they ripped off well, their Cabal Therapy is in the bin, so there's an actual cost to therapying me now. We know their hands Nightmare, Waste, Vigilante. So currently there's 2 mystery cards in hand. We know they can't currently deal with this Hippie unless they like have the forethought to go sack birds, therapy, Hippie. Then we're in a spot where we're kind of just playing fairly until morale improves. Gaia's Cradle. So now there's only 1 mystery card in their hand. They tap for 2, maybe 3, or they're going to morph. They're going to play a recurring nightmare. We don't give a crap about that. We've still got this resolved Withered Wretch. Although the resolve recurring nightmare does stop us from being able to therapy them out of the nightmares. Now I wonder if they want to bop, sack the bop, therapy me. Naming Hypnotic Specter here would not be embarrassing for our opponent at all. It looks like they're not going to do that. There is a non-zero chance that if they don't do that, I actually sandbag Hippie and take their Cabal Therapy out right now. It depends on what we draw, because if we draw like a land, we don't care if they have Cabal Therapy. Let's see what we draw. It's a Smother. That's actually kind of interesting. Smother can hit. No, now I think we're doing this instead. We're going to go Mishra's Factory. We're going to go to combat. We'll get in for 2. I know not playing Hippie is weird here. Maybe the play is to just play Hippie, but I kind of like this line slightly more. Now we're going to go black colorless, and we're going to go ahead and smother this bird. Another guy's Cradle doesn't make mana, so they can't even morph the Nantuka Vigilante if they wanted to. And now they can't flashback Cabal Therapy. If they go to put a creature on the stack, we will simply eat the Cabal Therapy with our Withered Wretch. Seems like a tight line to me. They've got a swamp, so now we still know 3 of 4 in their hand. Vigilante, Lawnmower Waste, Recurring Nightmare. Tapping that Gaia's Cradle doesn't do anything, brother. Green. I mean, you drew a 2-drop or you didn't. They just have another Cabal Therapy. Well, we can't stop them from doing that. Although they might not actually name Hippie since we have the Hippie and we could have cast it last turn. Of course, they could be watching the stream. So if that's the case, Cabal Therapy is stronger than usual. And now we know all 3 of the cards in their hand, and they can't cast. And well, no, they can just like jam the Lawnmower Waste and then cast. Nope, they still can't cast anything. They named Smother. Okay, I don't have that. That's bad for our opponent. That's very bad for our opponent. We know they can't deal with a Hippie. Go to end step. All right, we will cleanly activate Withered Wretch and we will take out Cabal Therapy, tapping for a black. No therapies for you. Untap, upkeep, draw. Smother. Ooh, Thoughtseize Bug. All right, go to combat. Attack for 2. Easy peasy. They take 2. They go to 16. Then we will jam. I think this is colorless to activate, so I like just having my man lands not have summoning sickness. Then we'll go black, black, and 1, and we'll jam the Hypnotic Specter. Holding up Withered Wretch, if they go to play a creature, we'll hit the Cabal Therapy. Black, green, Wall of Blossoms. Okay, well that's definitely gonna resolve. I'm definitely gonna take out your Cabal Therapy with that, with my Withered Wretch, I think. Yeah, not today. Not today, Satan. No more therapies for you. You have a Wall of Blossoms though. You may draw a card. And now their Gaia's Cradle's unlocked. And they still have 1 mystery card. They still got Vigilante, they still got, now they don't have Wastes. So it's Vigilante, Recurring Nightmare, mystery card. Tapping for 2 for a survival. That's quite good. That's bad for us. Well, though that Recurring Nightmare still doesn't do what they need it to. I just can't tap out of my Withered Wretch here. I need to make sure I can always target the thing in their graveyard. Also, this Rats is pretty good. We're gonna go Swamp, and then we could just like smother this. I think we're fine with it just being in our way. How much mana do we actually need up? I don't think very much. I think we're just pushing damage. I think we just had a Swamp come into play, right? Yeah, that's the newly controlled Swamp. So what we're going to do is we are going to fire up our Mishra's Factory using this Swamp, and then we're getting busy with everything. Then we're going to Rats our opponent, holding up a mana for the Withered Wretch. Attack with all creatures. They pop a block off probably on the factory, so I can't pump, but it still won't kill their Wall of Blossoms. That would be the intelligent play here. Yep, there they go. All right, take 4, trigger the Hippie. They pitch the Recurring Nightmare. Now we're going to go 1, and we know the last card in their hand is Nantuka Vigilante, and we don't want them pitching it to the survival, so we're pretty happy to go black, colorless, Ravenous Rats. And then if they brick on creature, they can't even start a survival loop. All right, no cards in hand. We've got Withered Wretch up. We're feeling pretty good here. This deck so far feeling very strong. I'm also probably going to have everyone that makes it to con that I know sign my tribe mat. I want it Peach Ball. That would be sick. All right, opponent, did you draw gas, or are we going to do this again next turn? Now I'm comfortable taking the same turn over and over again for the next 3 to 4 turns to win. One of our fail rates is they like find a creature for their survival, they pitch it, and then they're eventually able to buy into enough value. They're going to Recurring Nightmare, targeting their Nantuko Vigilante. This is definitely interesting here because they have no mana. So if they want to activate survival, they've only got 2 mana, and then they can't redeploy the Recurring Nightmare. They have to play a creature as well. I think this is fine to just go black, activate Withered Wretch. Hopefully I don't get, do I get punished for this? If they have, we know the card in their hands, Recurring Nightmare, then there's a mystery card. They can tap a green and discard that mystery card, and then go get, even if they get a 1-drop, it's not enough to redeploy to Recurring Nightmare. I think this is sound. Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take that out. Hey Shroom, hope you're doing good, man. But wait, wasn't today when you were going to play some paper games? Nope, that's tomorrow. Today's Wednesday. The paper stream is on Thursday. So the Recurring Nightmare doesn't do anything. You can redeploy it if you want. Looks like they're gonna take their turn to do nothing. Maybe go through some survival looping. Although looping survival doesn't do anything because we can take out the squee. We don't need to have a ton of mana up. Let's just man up. Oh, they're conceding. Okay, got it. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're gonna win that game no matter what from that spot. Now, how do we sideboard? They are a very green deck with very green cards, meaning that Dystopia should be, in theory, incredibly good. Gloom, not so much. Engineered Plague, we could like name Bird or something. Not clear how good that is. Maybe it's correct to bring in. We'll bring in the Furnaces, I guess, if we have space. Powder Keg could be okay, but ultimately I don't know if it's necessary. Do they play Deed? That's a big question. I'm not sure. Usually you can't get away with playing Deed and Survival in the same deck though. All my removal is incredible. Cabal Therapy looks good. Actually, my whole deck looks good. So these Furnaces might just be like hopeful at best. We've already got 4 copies of Withered Wretch. Any opinion on the new tribe lists? They're a little bit heavy in the combo and low on lands for my taste, but you can't argue with the results. Like the pilot was very good. It was awesome. I'm planning to try that tribe deck soon. So we definitely want these Dystopias. What does that mean we want to take out? Maybe like the first copy of Hippie on the draw. Maybe the first Duress, Cabal Therapy. They're both good. I think tearing our opponent's hand apart is still a valid strategy, though I could see missing on Duress with a fair amount of regularity. And Dystopia kind of does the same job. Then it's like, it's Phyrexian Arena good on the draw. Maybe I can afford to trim 1. It's kind of awkward. Yeah, we're just going to do that. 3 random cards for 3 Dystopias, which I'm sure are going to be incredible. And then submit. I could see a world where Phyrexian Furnace is good too. But with 4 Withered Wretch, I'm just not going to panic about their graveyard just yet. It's not like they're Reanimator and I have to stop them on turn 1. Yeah, Jim, I agree. This deck is very sick. All right, this opener is Therapy, which we're going to cast and name Survival. Wasteland, Wasteland, Swamp, Swamp. If we can catch him with the Wasteland, this hand starts to look very good. I think we're going to keep. There's a chance we're anemic on turns 2 and 5, but our 1, 3, and 4 all look quite good. All right, they open on Swamp, which is not great. Don't Duress me. Cabal Therapy and name something I don't have. That's what we want to see. Cabal Therapy. All right, what are we naming? Please name Duress. Protect your Survival, opponent. They name Withered Wretch, which I just don't have. Jim sub with Prime. Thank you for the Prime sub, Jim. Appreciate it, buddy. All right, so they miss. I'm just gonna open up on Cabal Therapy your Survival. And if they don't have it, we're happy. If they have it, we're happy. This is a win-win situation, even if we miss. Best top deck here by a lot, probably Ravenous Rats. That way next turn we can really tear them apart. Another Wasteland, not looking great this game, but hopefully it comes up at some point. Cabal Therapy, I'm gonna Cabal Therapy you right back. Survival of the fittest. No survivals. We've got Wall of Blossoms, Wall of Roots, and Uktabi Orangutan. Strong. Knowing about that Uktabi is gonna be pretty good for us too. No non-basics for us. That's a bummer. These Wastelands are just gonna be mana producing cards. Luckily, they don't currently have an out to this Dystopia. I mean, they do. They're going to go Wall of Roots, no, Wall of Blossoms, and then Cabal Therapy it. But we're in here for the long haul today. Forest, gone, Wall of Blossoms. Duress, interesting. That seemed like an inefficient way to use your mana. Yeah, that was just an inefficient way to use your mana. You should have went Wall of Blossoms, Cabal Therapy, the cards you know about, wait on the Duress. I think that was just a better play. But hey, what do I know? I wish some of these Wastelands were Mishra's Factories. This hand would look a lot stronger. Okay, this Cabal Therapy is not a bad top deck here. Let's go land. Probably should just put a Wasteland there, but what can you do? Do I care about any of their cards except for Recurring Nightmare? Not particularly. We're just going to Cabal Therapy the Recurring Nightmare. Recurring Nightmare. Get out of there. All right, that's gone. We know the rest of their hand is the 3 green creatures. And then we will pass the turn. Who you're playing against in the paper streams, though, if you don't mind me asking, is it Max? Come to think of it, it's been a while since Guy was on some videos. Yeah, it's been a minute since Guy's been on the videos. We're planning a tournament that Guy will be a part of. I need to get Guy in here for a full stream soon too, though, but it will be Max. Max has some time this week, and anytime Max has availability, I scoop him up. He's one of my favorite people to play against. He's one of the strongest players I know. Might not come across on videos because he's always playing a deck that he's played for the first or second time ever, and he's there for the vibes. But if you let Max go a little bit deep on a deck and learn it, he is one of the most dangerous players you'll ever play against. Like he's like got second place at so many energies, and just like he shows up to like big events and just takes them down while being like kind of hungover. It's insane to see. All right, we got the Wall of Blossoms. It was cast. It flashed back a thing. They got a forest and a bird. So their hand is Wall of Roots, Uktabi, Orangutan. Their hand's not strong. Mine is weaker. Take a draw. Maybe we're supposed to side out some Wastelands too. Withered Wretch looking pretty thick here. I will play Wasteland out, tap for 2, and jam this Withered Wretch. They don't have an answer to this, so we're going to start mopping up their graveyard. We could flash Cabal Therapy back by sacrificing the Withered Wretch, but why would I bother? Nothing in their hand is meaningful. Hello, enjoy the games. Wanted to ask if there's any comp march of the Machine's Mycosynth Lattice deck, not Commander. If you're talking about Value Vintage, I think they're maybe, but I have no clue. As far as Premodern goes, no. And Value Vintage is definitely possible. All right, there's the Wall of Roots. What else we got coming? Uktabi, yeah, just jam a body. I like that. I actually like our opponent's line here of just like getting into play. and making sure I can't just start sending in with this Withered Wretch if I find like a Smother or something. We're going to Withered Wretch away. Well, we're going to hit the creatures first, make future recurring nightmares worse, and then we'll take an on-tap, and we're playing purely off the top here. Dark Ritual, pretty bad. We'll play another Wasteland, and then we will just pass. We're kind of in the waiting room here. If we draw Graveborn Muse, if we draw Phyrexian Arena, lots of cards here that will kind of take us way over the top. Another Masticore would be quite good. There's a lot of ways we can go over the top here, but we got to peel it. We're going to send in with the monkey. I would, yeah, get like some leverage in the game. I like that from our opponent. Just attack for 2. Whether they have something in hand or not doesn't really matter. They just need to have an angle to play the game on while we're both in the top deck waiting room. Tap for 4. Sounds like they're no longer in the top deck waiting room. That's a Genesis, my guy. That's strong. We'll need to find an out to that. Snuff Out is acceptable. All right, Withered Wretch, Recurring Nightmare. Tap for a colorless. Withered Wretch, Duress. Tap for a colorless. Deck, do that thing. Top deck that good shit. Ooh, that does not count as good shit. All right, here's a swamp. We're going to have our teeth kicked in for a few turns by this Genesis and this monkey. But I think we have to sit firm and not expend our Withered Wretch until the absolute last moment that we're able to, because our deck is full of removal. Snuff Out is in the hard cast zone. We don't have to pay 4 life for it, so we'll see what we can get away with. Get busy. 6. I'm going to 12. Ouch. My teeth. You're kicking them in. Green. Survival. Sure. Survival, pretty strong here. Not super terrified yet. I'm going to be terrified after 2 more bricks off the top. All right, there's 1 brick. We're just passing the turn. That monkey is doing work. The Genesis is also clocked in right now. We've got like 1 more turn, realistically, to find it out. Because if we have to block with this Withered Wretch and that Survival of the Fittest unlocks Squee, we're never going to keep up. And our top deck is no longer Phyrexian Arena. That's no longer good enough. Now it needs to be like, we need to draw the removal spell for the Genesis, followed by like a way to draw cards. Therapy is fine. I have 2 Dark Rituals named Smother. Nope, if I had the Smother, I probably would have cast it at some point in the recent past, right? I think if I was going to name something here, it might be like Skeletal Scrying doesn't make any sense either because I could cast it here. Maybe I'd name like, I don't even think casting that Cabal Therapy there makes any sense. They go to combat, chip in for 6. I cannot stop them, which is terrifying. I will take, we drop to 6 and they're passing. We'll go ahead and retch away this Cabal Therapy now. We're probably losing this game, but I'm still going to operate to every single out that I have, including this 1 top deck. It's a Withered Wretch. Technically, this lets us pop off a block, so I'm going to play this Wasteland, tap for 2, play this Withered Wretch. And as far as blocking goes, I think this is going to seem weird, but I think I'm going to block the Uktabi Orangutan and let the Genesis through and go to 2, and then try to find the out to the Genesis the hard way. Alternatively, I could just like pop a block off on the Genesis, but then if I'm able to kill the Genesis, the Uktabi Orangutan still getting in. Yeah, I like the line of just block the Genesis. And I can't double block the Genesis because I need a Wretch to get rid of the Genesis. So we're doing it. We're going to blocks, and then we're going to take this Withered Wretch and put it right in front of the, not Genesis, in front of the Uktabi Orangutan and take 4. Yep, damage. I'm at 2. Is Damnation good for sideboard in any black deck? What for? You need to be format specific. Damnation's too expensive for value vintage and is not legal in Premodern. Deranged Hermit, I believe that closes all of our outs off. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it does. We'll let this resolve. I'm going to give it 1 more top deck just in case there's something I wasn't thinking of, but I don't think there is. And not good in regular Modern, correct. Withered Wretch away the Uktabi. And it's a shame. Damnation's one of my favorite wrath effects of all time. Give me that Uktabi Orangutan. On tap. Peter? Where's a Crypt Rats when you need one? You're not kidding. I wish it was in this deck, but it's not. Duress. Okay. Yeah, we experienced that mid-game anemia we were talking about when we looked at our opener. That kind of happens sometimes when you keep a hand that maybe needs a little bit off the top, but that's okay. We were expecting that. Now we're on the play, so I'm more interested than average in this Phyrexian Arena. Still interested in my Dystopias, so it really comes down to like, what am I removing from my deck? I think Duress is like probably my worst form of discard. I think Diabolic Edict is actually actively bad though. They're going to go wide more often than not. I actually still love my Contagion. And then this Hippie is also something I'm kind of interested in. Maybe even interested in going down a Duress for it, just because it's going to maintain a clock. Yeah, we'll take out a Duress, bring in a Hippie. That gives us 6 ways to answer the turn 1 survival plus dystopias to go over the top of it if they're able to resolve it. I bet the pilot maybe has a different plan for this matchup for siding in and siding out, but I don't have access to that plan, so I'm kind of going on my own intuition. Submit. Those top decks were pretty unlucky, kind of like yesterday's Burning Tog game. Yeah, we did go 2-1 with Burning Tog though, and that deck was super fun. I really enjoyed that gameplay. Like editing it was fun for me. I was like, oh, this deck is cool. All right, we'll take the play. This hand has a turn 1 Dystopia, which doesn't actually do anything. But we've got other stuff going on. I think we're going to solidly play a control role. We'll keep this. We're going to Cabal Therapy. We're going to name, I wonder if we're supposed to just name Duress. I think we're going to Cabal Therapy Duress. Is Powder Keg worth it for the birds? I don't think so. I don't think the birds aren't the fight I think we're trying to fight. Our opponent mulligans, which seems strong for us. So the thing we don't want to get hit is our 2 Dystopias off of 1 Cabal Therapy. So this might be a weird case of Cabal Therapy, Cabal Therapy. I know that seems weird, but I think I plan our opponent on being a strong enough player to rip open a Cabal Therapy naming Dystopia. Do I think that would be necessarily correct? No, but it's the thing I'm most afraid of. And I'm not just going to rip a Dystopia into play with nothing else in play. So I'm going to go Swamp. I'm going to tap it. I'm going to go Cabal Therapy. I'm actually going to name Cabal Therapy because Duress is not good enough. Duress only gets one of the Dystopias. This is an experimental play. I am no Mono Black gamer. So if anyone thinks this play is dumb, let me know why, and you're probably correct. But this is my play. This is the line I'm taking. All right, they've got birds, naturalized Genesis. This Snuff Out's going to look real good on that first Birds of Paradise. And we have full information. Not dumb at all. Love this line. Hey, thank you for validating me. I actually appreciate that. I'm never super confident with my Cabal Therapies. I'm not a very strong Cabal Therapy gamer. Pass the turn. If I was my opponent, the card I would be the most afraid of in this matchup is probably the Dystopias. Why Snuff Out when you can Dystopia the burp? That's true. They do have the naturalize in hand, but I'm gonna get 1 trigger off this Dystopia, and once they naturalize the Dystopia, I have a second one. Is this Swamp Cabal Therapy? I'm gonna be so pissed. Oh, it's just a Duress. We're fine. They probably hit the Dark Ritual though, to be sure. Yeah, we didn't see that Duress. They get 1 of our Dystopias, so we're down to 1 now. But we know the rest of their hand, and they're gonna have to give something up to the Dystopia. They kind of just don't get a choice. And we don't have to play the Dystopia out either, so we can just jam a factory. I don't know why our opponent's not passing the turn. I can see their hand. They have no further actions. Just F6, dude. Do you know about the good old F6? All right, untap. Draw. Hypnotic Specter, not bad. This could be a case where we just want a Dark Rit Hippie. They don't have an out to it. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Dark Ritual. Hippie. Good luck on finding your Smother or whatever. Now, there's 15 swamps in our deck. We'd like to draw 1 in the next, 2 to 3 turns. And I'll feel like we've got a pretty strong chance at this game. If we just go whiff, what can you do? They cast a birds. I'm not going to snuff out that birds, I don't think. Let me see, they've got 3 mystery cards. We know 1 black mana can't kill our Hypnotic Specter. We'll take a draw, see what we draw first. Another hippie, interesting. So I could see, there's a few weird lines I could see. I don't really want to sacrifice my factory. There is a line where I sack the factory to flashback Cabal Therapy to name none of the cards in their hand are worth naming is the problem. I think we're just gonna kind of get busy and let them block with their birds if they want to. Yeah, I kind of just don't care if they block. Attack. No blocks, that makes sense. They probably need the mana. This might be a case, no, this was actually a misplay. I was definitely supposed to get him with the factory as well. Should have thought about that. I'm not doing literally anything else with my mana. All right, they lose a birds. Their hands naturalize, Genesis, mystery card, plus the mystery card they're about to pick up off the top of their deck. But if you can make them discard the naturalize with this hippie, that would be so strong. All right, there's still only 1 mystery card. Tapping for a green. Are they casting the other mystery card? It's a survival? That's brutal. But it resolves. They can activate it with the birds here. That's also not great. And pitching the Genesis is going to be quite strong for them. We're going to untap. Swamp, please. Oh, man. Withered Wretch is brutal here, huh? Let's go to... Do we want to let them block with this birds? We still kind of don't care, it feels like. And I'm not going to use my mana anyway. Yeah, it's time to fire this up. I need to try to race this, I think. Activate factory, go to combat. Tap for a green and a black. What does that do? I know your hand. Attack with everything. Trigger the Hypnotic Specter. Please just discard, honestly, naturalize. Either one would be fine, because if they pitch Genesis, they can't activate survival. Now they can't activate survival. They can they can naturalize my factory. So does that mean that I should I get no, the Cabal Therapy doesn't do anything because they just naturalize and oh, I guess they can't naturalize in response, but that still doesn't do anything. I just burned the therapy for no reason, right? Okay, go to unstep. We've still got this hippie. All right, they didn't naturalize the Mishra's factory. That's interesting. And we know the only card in their hand is naturalize. So do you want to pay to get a creature back is the question. At that point, we might snuff out this Birds of Paradise. Looks like they're targeting birds. I'm going to pay 4 life. And actually, he's saving the naturalize for Dystopia, which is smart. I think our opponent's being pretty smart there. We are going to snuff out the birds and continue to tempo play them though. This means that if they want to buy back their birds to pitch to the survival, they're going to have to do it all right now. Float the green, let the birds die, pick up the birds, pitch it to survival. And that's going to cost all of their mana. Then the hippie might just knock out what they drew with it. The one thing I don't like about their line is that their Naturalize continues to be exposed to this Hypnotic Specter. Saving it for game 4, maybe. All right, continue. All right, their green mana's gone. You're gonna need a heater like right now, opponent. If they survival for a survival target and play it, if it doesn't have flying, I'm just gonna make them discard their Naturalize with my Hippie. And then Black Source means Dystopia. And out of the 50 cards in our deck, 15 of them are basic swamp. Their hit was Forest. Now I think I'm going to protect my Mishra's Factory from the Naturalize. Another Hippie is not good here though. Well, I would still go for the land kill with Naturalize since you were mana screwed. Yeah, I'm not gonna give them the opportunity this time actually. I'm gonna attack with the Hypnotic Specter and make them pitch their Naturalize. Ayah. All right, trigger the Hippie. You lose the Naturalize. Then we're going to pass. We are definitely mana screwed this game. If we drew a swamp at any point in the last like 4 turns, easiest win of our life. But that is no longer the world we live in. Now, luckily, this Hippie makes these Genesis lines clunky and not consistent. Average Hippie hard carry. Yeah, that's what Hippie does. If you open on Hippie and it doesn't get answered, it will really alleviate some of the other problems you're experiencing, for sure. All right, they got the Birds of Paradise back. That's fine. I don't care. You're going to play that shit? Yeah, they're playing the birds. It looks like they're going to start to protect themselves in their hand with the Birds of Paradise, meaning that I would take a Snuff Out or a Smother here as well. On tap, take a draw. Swamp anytime would be a-okay. Hey, buddy, how we doing? Attack with the Hypnotic Specter. I shouldn't have played that swamp first, though. That was a mistake. Now they might just take this. All right, they're blocking with the birds anyway. That seems strange to me. So let's throw 3 Hippies in play now. We could do, is that better than just Dystopia though? I'm not confident that's better than Dystopia. Chat, what do you think? We know the Naturalize is gone. It's in their graveyard. We know nothing about their hand. And making them discard this survival feels strong. Yeah, that's where I'm at, Requiem. I'm thinking like, Dystopia, this is your problem now. Does it affect your clock? Let's see here. Right now, we've got our opponent on a 6-turn clock without ever playing another Hippie, because we've got Factory and Hippie. If we play another Hippie, that does put our opponent on a 2-turn clock. You know, maybe there's a chance the Hippie was better. The problem is by leaving the survival in play, this turn, potentially, if they draw a creature, they could easily go like survival for way to block Mishra's Factory, then like buy something else back, survival for like birds to block Hypnotic Specter. And then I play the Dystopia, then they awkwardly sacrifice the Birds of Paradise. And if that happens, that's pretty bad. You can tap 3 mana, but this Dystopia is still triggering right now. But I do think that like I could be argued, because I don't know all of this deck's survival lines or what they have access to, but you could make an argument to me that it was actually better to drop Hippie there, and I would buy it. Because 2 Hippies is gonna make it impossible to leverage the survival in a timely manner. I will keep paying this Dystopia for the rest of the game. I don't give a shit. I'm paying 1, and I will sacrifice a green or white permanent. Oh, I don't have any. All right, there's a Phyrexian Arena. That's pretty cool. We're going to combat. I won't attack with the Factory. I'd rather just get a second Hippie in play. Attack you for 2. Dystopia is so good. Joda Falcao subscribed at tier 1. Sorry if I butchered your name, but thank you for the tier 1 sub. Take 2. Trigger the Hippie. Discard something relevant. Naturalize is relevant, huh? Let's go Hippie number 2. Figure this out, opponent. Now it feels like we can't lose. Like they could straight up play Deranged Tournament here and I think we still win. Maybe we still win. We'll see. I think Deranged Tournament is like their best out to this situation. Forest 2. Mesmeric Fiend, yeah, you can take whatever cards you want. They're all real bad for you. Love your content and you presented my first deck, the solution. Thank you so much. Love to hear about another solution enjoyer. Very good taste in deck, buddy. I'm also a big solution enjoyer. We gotta get some more solution in paper, but I keep putting my meddling mages in a different deck for a paper stream. And I only have the 1 set of Chris Pakula art meddling mages. So, all right, well, you can't stop me from just doing this to you again. I'm gonna pay the 2 again as well. All right, on tap, trigger the Dystopia, put the abilities on the stack. I will pay the 2, and then that gets a counter, then I'll draw. It's a swamp. I'm just playing a 3rd Hippie, right? Like go to combat. You can have them as Mesmeric Fiend, I don't care. Attack. Please discard your hand and go to 6. They're at 6, trigger the Hippies. Pitch Genesis, that's fine. All right, we're in my second main phase. We'll go Swamp, tap for 1, 2, 3, Hypnotic Specter. This is lethal in the air. I have no clue what you can rip to save yourself. You don't even have enough mana for Pernicious Deed to be an out. Yeah, GG, he can't do shit, agreed. Opponent fought a good fight. Like I think they managed their resources really well. But Dystopia is a hell of a card. And they had to play around 2 of them for the whole game. I don't fault our opponent for losing this game. I think like we top decked just well enough and we found our swamp just quick enough that we were able to go over the top this game. Yeah, you buy that Birds of Paradise back. They're going to try to survive for 1 turn. I respect it. Although I'm just going to get in with my Mishra's Factory and they're going to have to block with the Fiend and I'll play a Withered Wretch. And then they're still not going to have mana to Pernicious Deed, even if it's in their deck. I guess they've got 1 in hand, so that's a little scary. End step, on tap. I'm paying 3 life, by the way. Pay the 3, go to 10, take a draw. It's a Snuff Out. That's unfair, and I'm sorry, opponent. I will just pay 4 life. Kill your bird. That was about as good a top deck as you could hope for. Go to combat, and they concede. Very cool. All right, we got round 1. It was a 2-1. It was hard fought, but we got there. Let's get some more. Let's see here. We got Premodern, AAA Premodern practice. AAA is a demon at the game. I definitely want to get a game against AAA. They have a very strong Tog list that they've been playing with like 4 foils. Big fan of it. They're on the play, and I get to say, hi, GL, HF, exclamation point. Love your Tog lists. All right, we've got Therapy, Duress, Snuff Out, Smother. No action, all interaction. And my camera just died. Don't know how that... Oh, thank you very much. Love your content. Oh, thank you. All right, I think we're keeping this. We've got no action, but we've got so much interaction that the first piece of action we draw, we should be able to back up infinitely. We could go hyper anemic this game and never draw anything. It looks like we're seeing Island Portent, which means our Duress and Cabal Therapy should be quite strong. This Smother also is quite strong. This Snuff Out, if we are in fact playing against Tog, textless. Psychotog turns out as a black creature. All right, they don't use the shuffle ability, so they like what's on top. So we're gonna untap, let the Portent trigger. We'll take a draw step. It's a Wasteland, not all bad. We're gonna go Swamp, and we're gonna keep it simple by opening on a Duress, targeting our opponent. Show me what you got. Is it Tog? Could be Tog. Looks like Tog. They don't have any black sources, but they could be hiding it. This is definitely the foil Tog variant of the deck. Here, am I interested in protecting myself from Duress? Or do I just want to like nail the counter spell? Or the Impulse maybe? This is definitely an interesting one. I think ultimately the Impulse could be anything. I'd rather just nab the hard counter for now. And then we no longer know about the counter spell. They also know what the next 2 cards coming off the top of their deck are, so we gotta be mindful of that. Also, we do not need this stop in their upkeep. Second island, we knew about that one. Very likely to just rip off Impulse at end step. We'll take a draw, we'll play a land, and then we're gonna go black. I'm actually gonna Therapy them right now. Super happy to name Impulse if they don't Impulse in response. And if they do, very likely to just nab the foil, something that I know is in their hand. I'm never gonna take the AK. Might even rip Duress. Since they didn't shuffle, they very likely have a black source in hand. Double, triple bonus points. All right, we're gonna take the Impulse. If they go black, if they go Swamp, Duress me, hit my Smother, that's a little bit of a problem. But I think we want to take the card that could be anything here. All right, we got the Impulse, and there we go. And now we know their hand is AK foil, Duress, Opt, and foil. All right, you are up, opponent. Hopefully they won't find black source. Well, this Opt and the AK, solid chance they find a black source. I would love it if they found, now they're like me, I've seen their lists. They're pretty, and did they keep that on top? They scry one top, no, they scry to the bottom. But they, oh, it's another Opt. They seem to enjoy Tog the same way that I enjoy Tog, which is like as many islands as possible, as few non-basics as possible. This delta represents a black source, so we're certainly getting Duress here. They're gonna take the Smother, then we're gonna have 4 blanks in our hand. They've got very few underground rivers if they're playing the list that they've been playing recently. There's the Duress, they've got AK foil. So they're pretty favored in a long game here, but if they don't have an island, then there's a Portent as well. Okay, let's see if we can find like, this is the turn to resolve like a hippie or a Phyrexian Arena. This is the turn we want to do that. All right, they're passing. On tap, draw Heater. You draw off Portent first though. It's the hippie. Okay, we go for it. We'll go Swamp, black, black, black. Please don't have Force Spike. They typically don't play Force Spike in this deck. Hypnotic Specter. All right, please don't find Psychotog. If they were gonna have it, now would be a fine time for them to have it because they definitely just portented and went 3 deep. And they also have a foil, so if they have like Gush Island, we're in deep shit as well. But it looks like they're just passing. They've got 2 unknowns, very well could have like a Heater, like Smother or something, but we're getting in anyway. We also just found this Masticore, which is very big game. Attack for 2, you got anything for this? There's the Smother. And now, if they have a foil, they have a foil, we're doing this. Land 1, 2, 3, 4. Play this Masticore and continue to feed it for the whole game if you can't answer it. Okay, this gives us a way to use our Snuff Out, which is quite good. Mystery card, foil, AK. There's the Tog. Okay, I think I know how we're going to try to not die to this Tog immediately. We will untap. We will trigger the Masticore. We're going to feed it our Snuff Out. It's a dead card, and it's a Dark Ritual. Okay, so what we're going to do now is I'm going to put a point of damage onto their Psychotog, tapping for 1, 2. Then I'm going to put another point of damage onto their Psychotog. I think make them exile 2. How much damage do they have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5, 6, 7, 8, 9.5, 10, 11, and they have an 11.5 damage right now. If they have a Gush, 6, 5, 17 -1 for the card draw, they get 16 damage. They've got AK in their hand. I'm not concerned about lethal just yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pay this again, and I'm just going to make them pay for their Tog again. And then they'll activate the Psychotog in response. This will keep it alive. Then we're just going to pass through our phases. I could have used the Dark Ritual, but I have to be cognizant and keep a card in my hand to be able to activate to pay for my Masticore. Does this Tog deck play Wonder? I don't know if his Tog decks typically play Wonder. This is the first AK, probably looking for land drop. Do they find? They find. So we know about a foil. Here's a second AK. That's a lot of gas. So this is now 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and a half plus 6.5. No, plus 5.5 because you minus the gush. So that's 16. Yeah, this is not lethal. So if they swing, I'm confident in just taking it. They can't go all in because I'll shoot down their Tog with Masticore. So we just take here. And then from here, I'm just gonna keep like holding up the Masticore and chipping in on the Psychotog and not attacking. Because the Masticore also has regen. 2 cards enter the exile zone, that's fine. All right, I will untap and I will feed my dog. I think I'm done playing. I'm not going to cast this Dark Ritual at any point, so we'll just pitch that to the dog. It's a Mishra's Factory. Am I interested in playing that as my land? I think so. Yeah, we're cool with the Mishra's Factory. And then I think that I will. Do I continue to ping this thing? Or do I just hold up Regenerate? I think for now we'll hold up Regenerate and we'll ping on their turn because they're not strong in combat right now. But if I hold up to Regenerate, they can't attack unless they have Wonder, in which case, you know, what can you do? Tracking their damage, they currently have, assuming they don't have Gush, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 and a half. If they have a Gush that goes up to 15.5, all right. End step, let's activate this Masticore, shoot the Tog, pay 2. This will never kill the Tog. We're going to continue to put pressure on the Tog. 1, 2, yep, they activate Tog, that's fine. Every time they activate Tog to keep it alive, that is a damage I'm not taking. All right, Masticore triggers. I'm going to pitch this Swamp. It's a factory that we're not going to play. Here, second verse, same as the first. We're going to ship the turn. You're up, opponent. They tap for 1. It's a Portent. Who are they targeting? Themselves. 1, 2. Gush? Sure. If we see Wonder, this game's over, and to save time, we'll probably concede and move on. Little Polluted Delta. If we didn't have the discard issue, 1 more land drop would be perfect for 2 damage around plus regen. It would be. You're not kidding. We're to end step, but I'm going to continue to do this. Every little bit of pressure I can put on them, on their resources, matters a lot. But we're locked by our Masticore. We're just pitching the card we draw every turn. They activate the Tog, that's fine. And then we untap and we feed, they draw off Portent, and we're obviously going to feed our dog. We draw a Swamp, which we'll just keep in hand. Now, I wonder if we should, no, we're not attacking. We're just going to continue this for as long as we can. I think we're going to ultimately lose this game, but I want to make sure I fully understand what's going on with AAA's deck list. Knowing if there's a Wonder, for instance, is going to be incredibly helpful information for how we like sequence round 2 or game 2 rather. Tap for a black, sure. Duress me? Yeah, that's a miss. Their hand disruption also can kill my Masticore, which is a little scary. End step, let's use this Masticore to deal a damage here, and then we will do it again. They exile the Psychotog. And right now their hand represents 6, 7, 8, 9 points plus 10, 11 and a half from the graveyard, 12 with the Psychotog. So we're still kind of healthy. Tristan, what's going on? How you doing, buddy? All right, let's pitch the Swamp, take a draw. The draws don't particularly matter. And then we're going to pass the turn. Chilling out, man. Losing to AAA on a Psychotog deck right now, but gaining as much information as I can in the meantime. All I need to see is 1 Factor Fiction or 1 Accumulated Knowledge, and I'll just call it. They'll eventually win this battle. 2, 3. Second Psychotog also does it. Well played, good game. I can't hold off 2. All right, we're going to sideboard. Now, this is a matchup where I have cards that matter. I think that Powder Keg is going to be pretty good along with Phyrexian Furnace. My artifacts look great. Gloom and Dystopia look miserable. Engineered Plague, Diabolic Edict looks fine. What do you guys think about Engineered Plague? Like, the first one doesn't matter as much, but the second one means they just straight up can't do anything. Is that a thing? Let's keep doing this till they run out of cards. You are winning this race. Not with 2 Psychotogs. With 2 Psychotogs, I'm about to die. With the first Psychotog, we can do that. Chat, let me know what you think about Plague. I'm going to start cutting. Contagion looks awful. Snuff Out looks miserable. So we got some obvious cuts here. Hippie looks good. Smother looks good. Edict looks good. All of these effects look awesome. Withered Wretch is going to be great. Yeah, it looks like I probably won't actually have space for a card like Engineered Plague, especially since we need 2 for it to matter. Masticore looks quite good, but it's hungry. Plague might come in handy with Masticore. 2 of them would be good. Engineered Plague? Oh, it could be, but then like they can still just keep feeding it. Not feeling the Plague. I'm not either. If we could guarantee that we'd have 2, I might be in on the Plague, but we simply can't do that. And I'm already having trouble figuring out what to cut for these last 2 cards. I think this matchup's going to be so grindy. Is Masticore maybe slightly trappish? An early Masticore is not going to help me. My normal creatures look pretty good. What do you guys think about Masticore? I'm thinking about shaving one Masticore and then like one maybe Ravenous Rats. Although Ravenous Rats doesn't look that bad to me either. I think we'll cut one Masticore and then maybe we don't need 2 Powder Kegs. Maybe that is hyperbolic to the point of lunacy. Could be. Maybe we just don't fight that fight. Kind of hard to tell. Yeah, Masticore does feel a bit like a trap. Furnace is pretty good. I agree. I think I'm only going to bring in 1 Powder Keg. I think we'll try something like this. Submit. Does anyone ever cut Dark Ritual? I think on the draw in this matchup, I'd consider it. On the play, the strength of turn 1 hippie is too damn strong. I would like to play first. Dark Ritual, but no hippie. What can we do here? Nothing. We don't have a black source. Mulligan. This hand has a Duress into Withered Wretch, into Hypnotic Specter. I can trim a Wasteland. Yeah, we'll keep that. Wasteland goes to the bottom. Here we go. You always hate to keep a hand with no rituals because ritual top decks look pretty bad now. Now, a ritual top deck next turn would be pretty good because I can still rush out the hippie. But for now, we go Swamp, tap, Duress, opponent. All right, they've got Counterspell, Duress, foil, Portent. Underground River is their only mana source. Oh, they mulled to 5. Poor thing. All right, we're taking your Portent. Goodbye, Portent. That's brutal. Sorry, AAA. That was a brutal mulligan. I'm sure your 6 and 7 were totally unplayable. I haven't seen very much of AAA's actual gameplay, but based on his results, I can tell you that AAA is a fucking machine. Yeah, you duress me, you miss, unfortunately. This hand's just set up so well against you. I could just jam my Wretch here, or I could just like save the Wretch and Wasteland right now. I think I want to get into play. Yeah, I'm just going to start putting pressure into play. Here's my Wretch. It's tantalizing to Wasteland their only land, but I don't think holding off on playing my threats is going to be a potent way to play this game. They've just got Underground River, Counterspell, foil in hand. They probably they concede. Okay, we didn't really earn that one. Our opponent just mulliganed to 5. That was brutal. All right, now that we're on the draw, I can start to cut land. Why? Because Wasteland is miserable and my interaction's better. So I think I'm gonna bring this Keg back in for the Wasteland. Then it becomes, is there something that's better than my second Wasteland? In that game, obviously, Wasteland was awkwardly good because they found one of their Underground Rivers. But I think this is fine. We're just gonna trim a Wasteland so we don't overdraw on it. All right, what are we looking at here? We have no Dark Writs, but we've got Swamp, Mishra's Factory, Smother, Therapy, Arena, Specter, Powder Keg. This hand very strong. It demands we find second black source or Dark Writ, but I think we're going to try to do that. A little island action with a Portent, that's fine. All right, what do they do with that Portent? Let's scroll down and find out. That's going to matter. They decline, so they like the top of their deck. We're going to untap, they're going to draw off Portent, and we draw Ravenous Rats for turn. This is going to be a very good curve. We're going to open on Cabal Therapy, our opponent, and we just want to hit something we think they might have. So I'm going to name a Counterspell. Think, what you got? We missed. They've got Tog, Web, Psychotog, Impulse. And something, I'm sure something frothy on the top. There we go. And then we will just pass. Next turn, we're 10 out of 10 to go Ravenous Rats. They discard a card, then we Cabal Therapy, whatever else that we know they have. That Swamp was not off the top. There's a Sabos Web, which is going to fuck our factory up pretty bad. We're not stoked to see that. They also draw a card. Non-basic off the top, no luck. Okay. Well, we still got to do what we got to do. Alternatively, we could get our Keg into play now and plan to pop it on 2 if need be. And if we start drawing lands, we don't have to worry about it. That could be a thing. Let's do Keg here. Maybe that's better. They've got 2 mystery cards in hand. I think I need a way out of this Sabos Web eventually, because this factory could be a meaningful piece of interaction. And we've got lots of gas in our hand as well. That said, being able to tear their hand apart a bit here seems good. But if we don't get the Keg in now, God knows what we'll do for the rest of the game. So let's take a turn off and get this Keg in play, or try to anyway. You got a foil there, opponent? They do have a foil. All right. So into their hands, Underground River, Impulse, Mystery. I actually agree with the aggressive foil there. If I can't find a land, they bought themselves like so many turns. All right, there's their Underground River. They got Impulse, Mystery, Mystery. Off the top, let's go. It's another Powder Keg. Okay, our opponent has successfully put us in the stink zone. Now they can Impulse. Yep, Impulse is good. Top 4, 1 to hand. Not card advantage, just selection, but selection is going to be good enough here probably. I don't think we know anything anymore. Portent themselves. Here I would have considered portenting me. Make sure I can't draw out of the spot that I'm in. But that's just an anecdote, not so much a critique. I think AAA knows what he's doing. Just assuming AAA is a he. Don't know why. All right, we find a Duress. I'm happy to like do anything with my mana here. Duress you. We see Counterspell, Smother. Don't care about the Smother. We're just going to take a Counterspell. Looks like we're both in a bit of a waiting room right now. I think all I need to do is top deck lands to have a shot at this game. My opponent could top deck like a Gush. I don't think they play Fact or Fiction, but they could top deck like a Gush. This Duress pretty good. I imagine they're just going to take my Keg. That's what I'd have to guess that they're going to take. Yeah, they take the Keg. All right, they're passing to us. We're going to take an on tap and draw Swamp. That is beautiful top deck here. Would you like to 1-for-1 this Ravenous Rats? I have to imagine you do, otherwise I'm gonna get both your cards. Yep, so their only card in hand is Smother. And now we have 2 lands, so if we can like resolve this Phyrexian Arena, we're cooking. Because now we've got Diabolic Edict and Smother up, and we know 2 counter spells are in the graveyard. Off the top, it's a swamp. Let's go land, 1, 2, 3. I'm just jamming it. Phyrexian Arena, do you have a thing for this? We know they've got a thing for the Specter. They impulse, oh, come on. Come on, whiff. Can I get a whiff in chat? Whiff. I love you, AAA. Your decks are sweet, but I want this one. Whiff. Does it happen? Yes. Okay, we've got a Phyrexian Arena. This is going to be us drawing 2 cards a turn. This is going to be difficult to keep up with. We're still in a world where they could win the game potentially, but it's going to be harder. They're going to hardcast Deep Analysis, which is strong. We're going to untap and draw 2 cards. We are on a 20-turn clock. That is meaningful. All right, here comes a swamp. We'll tap it. We're going to duress our opponent. Hopefully they've only got the 1 Smother. They do just have the 1 Smother. So their hand is land, AK, which means we are going to try to go over the top with this Hypnotic Specter. We also have 2 interaction spells for a potential Tog. So here's to hoping our opponent can't find it. Now, them not finding it's a tall order here because they're going to be able to flash back their Deep Analysis, which they're doing right now. And finding a Smother here will simply give them some maneuverability. Their island's gone. We know they've got AK, Swamp, plus 3 mystery cards. We're coming in. Trigger the Phyrexian Arena, draw a couple lands. I'll take them. You can activate Factory and Cabal Therapy them. That's so true. Although right now, if they have Smother, they'll just Smother in response. All right, there's the Smother. And then we know they have AK in their hand. Do we want to do that here? Swamp. Do we just want to hit AK, the card we know they have? It kind of messes us up if they find another AK, but like, I'd rather them not be able to cycle it. What else am I afraid of? I'm not afraid of Psychotog right now. I am going to play Burning Tog and Paper Tristan, yes. All right, we're activating the Factory. How many AKs are in the yard? I don't think any. There's none. So maybe they've got 2 counter spells. Maybe there is a more intelligent name here. Could be, there's already a Tog in the yard, but I've got 2 answers to Tog. I'm just going to name AK based on that being in their hand. Oh, they concede. Sorry, I might have to go. Girlfriend, prepare dinner, bye. Oh, nice. Bummer, but good games. I think at that point, unfortunately, that was anyone's game, but I'm not going to get too salty about the concession because I think if I was going to bet on the game, me with my resolved Phyrexian Arena and my Cabal Therapy on the stack with my 2 removal spells for Tog, I think I was pretty favored. I think the way they had out of that game is maybe Zombie Infestation if they brought it in. But I would say, yeah, 70% sounds about right. I think I was about 70% to win there. 2 removal spells, 2 cards a turn. Our opponent's hand's a little bit anemic, so we're going to call that, I mean, it was a 2-0. Like we did a 2-1 and a 2-1, so we're currently 2-0. But I'm going to put an asterisk because I think AAA is quite the player. And if any player could pilot out of that spot from there, I think if a Tog player could get there, it would have been AAA. So it would be interesting to see how the game finished. But we're going to do one more. This deck so far feels very strong. All right, GTAAAA, Premodern? Yeah, I'll play against you. You win the die roll. Would you like to play first? I would. I found an opponent. Let's do the high good luck. Have fun. Explanation point so they know I'm fancy. Okay, we've got Swamp, Wasteland, Duress, Cabal Therapy, Snuff Out. This is a hand that as long as our hand disruption spells hit, we can support the first threat that we find, which is going to be quite good. So we're going to keep this. It's a little iffy because there's no threats, but our deck is fairly threat dense, so I think we'll find it. Swamp, let's just rip on the Duress and hope that it hits. If it hits, this therapy is going to look terrifying. There are 2 Smothers. We're going to take their Unearth, and then we're going to therapy their Smothers, right? Yeah, right. Unearthed gone. And then I'll F6, then I can delete the Unearth. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Unearth, Smother. Hopefully they don't lead on Lawnmower Waste. That's going to be brutal if they do. I'm not happy to walk my land back, but I will. They do play Lawnmower Waste. Okay, this is going to be kind of mean. Untap, draw. Now we don't just auto win because of this, but our position looks good as long as we find land drops. Cabal Therapy, you name Smother. 2 Smothers down. And then we know their hand is Forest, Bloodstained Mire, not Smother, 1 Ravenous Rat, and that's their whole hand. Okay, then we'll just play this Wasteland, and I'm not going to belabor it. I'm going to crack it on their Lawnmower Waste. And then we will pass. So they've got Forest, Bloodstained Mire, Ravenous Rats, and I think that's... The Bloodstained Mire is gone. I think they got 2 Forests. Nope, they don't have the Lawnmower Waste. So now we know everything. Forest, Ravenous Rats, Mystery. No, just 1 Mystery card. And they just got a Swamp. Okay, my turn. I'm going to Cabal Therapy the Ravenous Rats now, I think. Just so they can't put any power into play. Unless I draw a Swamp, then like maybe I Withered Wretch. All right, we don't. So we're going to go tap, Cabal Therapy, you name rats. Ravenous Rats. Where the hell are them rats at? There they are. Oh, they drew another one too? That's so fucked. I'm sorry, opponent. You didn't do anything to deserve that. I mean, luckily our opponent can draw out of it better because they're actually going to make their land drops, but that felt mean. It's like if I draw a black source now, then I just like put this Withered Wretch into play and then we're cooking for the rest of the game. All right, opponent, you're up. Sorry, that was not polite. But if they draw like a Call of the Herd, they're like in such good shape still. That was brutal. That was pretty lucky for us. They draw their own Wasteland. All right, here's to not drawing Mishra's Factory right now, I guess. It's a swamp. That's brutal. Okay, swamp, tap 1/2, because we know their hands just lands. Here's my Withered Wretch. I have a Form of Clock now. There's the forest. They've only got one mystery card. Can you cast it? Looks like a no. All right, we're just peeling. We've got some time to peel. Contagion could be pretty good later. Doesn't do anything right now. Really good if you reveal it off of a Yuriko trigger. Attack for 2, 17, and pass to you. Misplay from them. Play the Wasteland. I would let you wonder what's my new card. Yeah, yes, exactly. I wouldn't have played the Wasteland. I'm really giving mono black right now. Good for them. They have 2 mystery cards in hand. I have no clue what they are. They should probably cast one now. I'm going to put at least one of them on being land. I don't know what they wouldn't just cast here. Graveborn Muse, incredibly good if I simply draw a Dark Ritual. So that's going to be awesome if it comes up. Because we have 2 zombies. Withered Wretch and Graveborn Muse, both zombies. So if that thing resolves and they don't have the out to it, we're going to start drawing 3 cards a turn. I don't know what they do. But we have to get there. Black, Duress, green, Tempting Worm. Uh-oh. That's a big uh-oh for our opponent. All right, trigger the Tempting Worm. Here comes my Graveborn Muse. That's all I got. Do you have a kill spell for that? Tap for a black. Funeral Charm. Target player discards a card. Absolutely. I will discard this Duress. All right, passing to me. I'm going to smother that Tempting Worm. This is brutal for our opponent. They don't deserve this. That's just kind of how it shook out. All right, smother that. Untap, draw 3 cards. They can see it. I don't even get to see what they are. Okay, well, that was a strong game 1. That was like, we ripped really lucky. Our opponent drew into a duplicate when we had the double Cabal Therapy hand, which just wasn't fair. What are we doing game 2 here? What did we see of our opponent's deck? They're just playing like green, black, worm rack, probably. What does that mean for us? Does that mean Gloom? Our Dystopia is like pretty good. I think so. What does it hit? It hits Call of the Herd tokens. It hits Roar of the Worm. Probably hits like Wall of Blossoms. It might be good enough. Powder Keg I think is very good because they're definitely playing Roar of the Worm. Phyrexian Furnace is a maybe. I think all of these kind of suck. These are all maybes. I think in order of best to worst, it's actually the opposite. I think Phyrexian Furnace is well above rate. I think Powder Keg is also awesome. And I think from there, we start to try to fit as many Dystopias as we can based on what we're taking out. I think Contagion sucks. I think Snuff Out is like not awful, but not great either. Like it can beat the Worm, but it can't beat... What black creatures do I think they play? That's interesting. I think Duress also kind of sucks in this matchup, weirdly. Yeah, I think I'll cut... I don't think they're Broccoli Soup. Broccoli Soup doesn't typically play the Worm. It could be an innovation. I think the Wastelands are above as well. Duress it does enable therapy. It just is awkward on the draw because I go Duress and then they've already played their threat out. And then once I Duress them, like if I hit, that's great. But if I hit something kind of lukewarm and then they follow up with like a meaningful spell and all I have is Cabal Therapy, that's like a horrible curve on the draw. I don't think there's just, maybe 2 Dystopia, maybe 1. Because I think I can cut the first Duress, I think. I can cut the first Snuff Out pretty easily. Edict looks fine. Everything else looks fine. I'm on the draw. Maybe like Ritual I'll cut an amount of. And then from there, it's like, how good is Masticore? They're a naturalized deck. Maybe I can cut. No, Masticore is really good against Tempting Worm though, right? Ooh, a little unclear as to how we're supposed to sideboard here. Wretch seems good. Maybe we just want like 1 Dystopia. Then we can also cut like an Wasteland. I bet their deck is, I bet they're just I bet they're not even playing red. They might just be playing fetches for Rotting Giant. So I think Wasteland might be below rate and we're on the draw. This is loose, but I don't want to like tank forever. We're going to try this and see how it works out. All right, we're on the draw. Our opener is Duress, Smother, Specter, Masticore. If that ain't Moneyball, I don't know what it is. Keep. Swamp. Duress me? Cabal Therapy. I wonder what they're going to name. I've got a lot of my money cards in my hand. They name Cabal Therapy naming Duress. That's really smart. I like that. This is going to let them do something like, say, resolve a Sylvan Library, which is a card they should have in their deck. That's messed up. Sorry, opponent. Thoughtseize bug. Oh, from our opponents, yeah, it is a Sylvan Library. I was right. Our opponent's got to be so max tilted right now. I would be. Like, they didn't deserve this at all. I just luck sacked that whole line. Because now, like, yep, Treetop Village is fine. Yeah, Thoughtseize bug is brutal. Treetops of their hand is Bloodstain, Tempting, Wasteland, Mystery. And their Wastelands don't have a ton of text. We're gonna untap and draw. It's a Smother. All right, well, they can't worm us, so they'll just fucking die. And they probably know that. They draw. Bloodstained Mire. A Ravenous Rat would be really good for our opponent here. It looks like they don't have it though. So they're just passing. Okay, well, I'm going to invest mana into my spells the hard way. That's Dystopia. That's quite good. Land 1, 2, 3. Here's my Hypnotic Specter. Or it's one of the 2 mystery cards in your hand removal, because that would be good. And you deserve it. If they don't remove this, they're just having an unlucky game, which is unfortunate. Never lucky, never lucky. Swamp. We know they have Wasteland and Tempting Worm still, and they're not going to play the Tempting Worm. Maybe they have Smother. Maybe they're still good. They're just waiting till the last minute to do it. All right, we'll go combat. We will simply attack. Here comes the Smother. There is justice in the world. Okay, our opponent found Diabolic Edict. Now we might have an actual something resembling a game to play here. Do we just Windmill Slam Masticore? Or do we bide our time and let them Tempting Worm? They've only got 1 mystery card. I think we Windmill Slam this Masticore. Say hello to my clock. They just used their Diabolic Edict, so the chance they have another one, significantly low. This is the best thing that I could put into play, so I wouldn't be surprised if they Tempting Worm now. Unfortunately, I'm going to cheat Dystopia into play if they do that. Looks like they're just passing. Maybe Dedict. If they have Dedict, they should do it in upkeep after I discard the Smother. Oh, well, they didn't do that. Okay. Well, the way they're playing makes me think that they do have Diabolic Edict. However, they should have cast it before I went to my main phase, because if I had Factory here, that'd be tough for them. We're going to tap 2 and play Withered Wretch. Do you have it? Guess not. Go to combat. Attack. Blockies. Go to 16. You're up, opponent. Ooh, little Wasteland action. That's not bad. Cabal Therapy. Yeah, that actually resolves. They can kill my Masticore here, which is really strong. Although maybe not though. If they go to man up that Treetop, they can't even activate Treetop Village twice. So if they go to do that, I'll just eat both of their Cabal Therapies. Looks like they're just passing. Now I can even hold up Regenerate on Masticore. That's busted. Yeah, on tap. Trigger the Masticore. Feed it. Draw. Another Withered Wretch is fine. Go to combat. I'm going to attack with my Masticore. Their hand is Tempting Worm plus Mystery card. They fetch. That's fine. Why no end step? Eat Therapy. I didn't want to turn off this. Wait. Oh, my creature can't be regenerated. So this is why. If they had Naturalize, I didn't want to tap out to lose the Regenerate on my Masticore. But they just have Snuff Out. And that says target non-black creature, it can't be regenerated. So they got him. All right, good for you, opponent. I'm glad you found a thing to do. Now I think, yeah, we're gonna go Withered Wretch eats Cabal Therapy. Withered Wretch eats Cabal Therapy. And then I guess, yeah, I'm just gonna jam this Withered Wretch into play and try to find an out to their Tempting Worm that is in their hand. Because now they have 2 mana 5/5, which shocker is very good. Yeah, you have 2 mana 5/5. Trigger, I have no cards in hand. That's just going to happen. All right, my turn, on tap. Take a draw, it's a Powder Keg. Don't love that on 2. My Powder Keg also blows up my Withered Wretches, but sometimes you just do what you have to. We don't know anything in their hand. So we're going to also, it does stop them from attacking with Treetop Village, so maybe I just leave it on 0. We're just gonna pass. Off to work, good watching, Bit Live. Thanks, Tristan, appreciate you, buddy. You have a good shift. All right, they're going to combat. I think, who wins this race? I'm on a 4-turn clock from that worm. They're on a 4, they're also on a 4-turn clock, but their clock starts earlier. I need to draw something to break parity, but right now I think I will consent to the race. I'm not going to take up this Powder Keg. You're still winning this race if they attack with the worm. Am I? I'm at 15. I attack them to 11. I go to 10. I attack them to 7. I go to 5. I attack them to 3. No, I'm not. Right? Unless I'm missing something very obvious. All right, end step. Let's go eat Snuff Out. Let's go eat Sylvan Library. This will just shrink down Skeletal Scryings that they could potentially have. On tap, Powder Keg, I will not activate. Ravenous Rats, do we open on the rat? Just believe in the heart of the cards, that's where we're at. Go to combat, I'm full sending. They can't even activate Treetop, what am I thinking? Take 4, good blocker, agreed. Rats, trigger the rat. I'm gonna activate this Withered Wretch right now to take out Duress. I just wanna minimize, now why would I wanna leave a mana up for a Withered Wretch here? I can't think of a reason. This deck usually plays Sylvan Scrying. I think I am just going to continue to keep this graveyard clear. I just want it empty. I want Skeletal Scrying to be a miserable top deck. Pass to you, and now I think they might have to put this worm on blocking duty, which is that's how they control the ebb of this combat, by simply blocking with worm. If they hold it back, I can't just get in. Okay, they're getting in. Well, I'm gonna take this opportunity to block with Ravenous Rats while I have it. Because if they find a removal spell, maybe I won't get an opportunity to block. All right, Ravenous Rats is here. Good thing I don't have any cards in hand. Now he's actually winning the race, very true. And then end step. All right, I mean, I get top decks just like he does though. Powder Keg's gonna stay at 2. Nope, or it's gonna stay at 0. All right, that Hypnotic Specter is pretty cool. Combat, I'm full sending. I'm committing to this race. All right, they block, they're gonna go to 9. And then here is my friend, Hippie. All right, we're winning the race again. You just gotta believe, man. Yeah, our top decks have been good to us. Although this deck's kind of built to top deck well, as long as you're not hitting like your dark rituals at awkward spots, your top decks feel good. They found a forest. I hope they don't feel like they can just get in with treetop. That's not going to shake out the way they want. If their hand's soft, then I don't even think they can attack with this worm. They're doing it anyway. Their hand must be strong. Either that or they do not know what this game's about right now. All right, I'll take 5 because whatever's in their hand, they have to deploy. Otherwise, this hippie's going to take it from them. Like a second worm would go crazy. End step. Activate, eat Ravenous Rats, tap for a black. And then on tap. And then I will not take out the Powder Keg. It's a swamp. Go to combat. What you got, dude? Everything. 6. Okay, what did you hold in your hand? A therapy. Sure. I'll keep this swamp just in case you wanted to do something dumb with your therapy, I guess. That's stupid. No, I'm just going to play the swamp out. Go ahead. Tapping for 3. Tell me it's a pernicious dude. It's a Call of the Herd. That's quite good. It does not save you. I have skillfully left this Powder Keg on 0. The reason it doesn't save him here, then they can't even attack with this worm or they're like confirmed dead with known info. But the reason it doesn't save them, if they had another green, they could like go to blocks and block with the elephant. And if I didn't want to let them, I'd Powder Keg the elephant. But now they can't even activate their treetop to block. So they are just dead here. But we're gonna go to our turn. Well, before we go to our turn, we'll activate a Withered Wretch, take out a Call of the Herd, tap a black, activate a Withered Wretch, take out a, man, this card's so good, you guys. Take out Cabal Therapy, activate a Withered Wretch, take out Diabolic Edict. All right, on tap, trigger Powder Keg. What do they want me to do, misclick? I will not use the ability. All right, they don't have a green source to block. I will pop Keg on 0. GG's. All right, opponent, GG's. All right, we got there. This was a 3-0 day. I see how this deck won Spanish Nationals. Requiem told you were winning this race. Hey, when you're right, you're right. This is a 3-0 day. This deck felt very, very strong. I absolutely see how if you have a hot streak and you're drawing well all day, this deck can just win a huge event like Spanish Nationals. So congrats to the pilot who won it. I'm not going to, Gabriel, we'll try it one more time for the meme of it. Such a beautiful name that I'm, Sebastiano Gabrielli. If you could like, if you ever watch this video, architect and pilot of this deck, if you could like give me the phonetic pronunciation so I can stop butchering your name, that would be stellar. But this deck was pretty sweet, no notes. I think the construction of it is intelligent. I think the plays all felt smooth. I think when the deck loses, it's usually because of something maybe you did wrong, because it gives you a ton of options. I'm a big fan of this. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. That was 2 MTGO videos in a row, so look forward to some hardcore paper gameplay coming up very soon. We're recording a tournament on Saturday, so if you want to come out and play with us at Pandemonium Games and Hobbies, we've got on November 8th, the Pandemonium Premodern Fall Series number 5. Yours truly will be recording there. It starts off at 12 Eastern Standard Time. Great prizing. Here's some pictures of the prizing on the screen right now. My partner did the entry prizes. I did this really cool Graveborn Muse, which is topical because of the deck we're playing. And then store credit to, you know, X and 1, X and 0. That's a substantial amount too. And they've got good stock, so you can pick up some pre-modern staples if you're near Southeast Michigan. But for today, that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I'll see you next time.